Greetings, mortals. I am Nathas, the ruler of the underworld, and today we will be reacting to the newest chapter of My Academia, chapter 397, titled Trash Cleanup. That kind of sounds like a wrap-up chapter if you ask me for a fight, but I don't think that's what this is supposed to be. So yeah, kind of funny chapter to have, honestly, for what could be like one of your last I guess it's not the I guess it's not. I don't believe I heard anything about there being like final 10 pages, but it's kind of funny to think like one of the final chapter titles, the names is gonna be like trash cleanup. But regardless, we continue this chapter with a fight between All For One and All Might, which is also a funny name for a fight between these two. This will be like if we got like a battle between Roger and Garp or Roger and Zabak or something like that, and the chapter title at the end, the chapters I would be Piece of Junk or something like that, or Worthless Bug, Worthless Cockroach, or something on that kind of category. But regardless, we have All Might screaming at the beginning, but I have to say, this feels wrong. Here I am, past the age of 50, beating the top of a helpless lad. Because, like, All For One is becoming younger and younger, and I guess it's confirmed that he's like he's already below young adult and is now in his teenage years. And so for All Might is like, I guess we can at least say he's older 50s, since I don't believe All Might's age was ever like completely settled, or you could probably make a statistical guess. But I guess we now know he's at least older than 50. Which is obvious. Actually, All For One is over, I believe, it's confirmed to be over 100 years old. Which means that he's old in Kakuzu. But regardless, like, he's over 100, and now he's like basically a young lad to All Might. It's like, this feels morally wrong to be being a lad. As we just have All Might just in the air smacking All For One in the face. As then we have, I think All Might thinks to himself, you harbor a ferocious rage in that hungers for one for all. That's what I'm exploiting, and it's the only reason this fight is even possible. The fate that binds the two of us. As All Might stands in a big grin on his face, that any real demon lord would be aghast getting whooped by a quirkless man. I mean, really? But like, people have like some low view on people with no quirks, and now the quirkless man is doing bad against All For One, the guy who literally beat. Like, I want you to all understand this. All For one-shotted Gigantomachia. Gigantomachia. Reread the League of Villains arc and the First War arc to understand how absolutely ridiculous that level of power is. And now All Might, quirkless All Might, power armor All Might is beating the shit out of him. Half of the cast, half of the universe would probably 1v1 All Might, and they would lose to him because of the sheer power of this armor. So yeah. Although, to be fair, in All For One's defense, that is pretty much what Demon Lords get a lot of times. I mean, just look at Lucius in Black Clover. That guy, oh, not Lucius, look at Lucifer in Black Clover. That guy was just screaming about how he is above everyone and just getting beaten to shit by pretty much everyone. As then we have, All For One thinks of, All Might thinks of himself, I'll keep you in this obsessive delirium, so you won't be able to tear your eyes from me. As you get like a shot of All For One, like, blah, blah, blah. As All For One then starts charging up his quirks in his arm, it's like Springif, Brawn Boost, Air Cannon, River Stab, Dark Ball, Imperium Beam, as he just sends all of that in front of him, and this it's like the most impressive citywide damage that we've seen in My Academia, but a pretty decent and respectable one. As we get like buildings destroyed, as we see like All Might and his armor being sent flying past quite a few buildings. It seems like it was more like the boot. I'm not sure that was All Might like preparing himself away, or if that was just the All For One hitting him or something. But like, needless to say, All Might is going like several buildings from that blast away from All For One. As then we have All Might in one building, Humane kind of standing back up as like, what a mismatch of a combo. Utility Cape Auto Guard Dark Shadow, which is against one he was using. Like this is a reference to Dark Shadow with that armor, which even kind of resembles Dark Shadow covering Tokoyami. As almost like it's proof that I'm pushing his buttons just right. Keep Taki Toshinori, keep him riled up. Basically, it's just gonna be using randoms and powerful and destruction, all that type of stuff. As then we have, I think the systems speaking with keep destroyed. The communication fractures and clevers and left humorous, as if almost saying set movement assist to max. As if we get like the thing kind of like Nanotaki moving around. As we have All For One going towards All Might, as All For One says to him, this allows you to fight, you said. You're certainly mistaken. They have like All For One standing there as is in that state, as he has like, which funny enough, despite him supposedly being like a teenager or something around that, he actually does seem like he's old, still old. Like I don't know, like his angry expression makes him like look like he's an adult, still an adult now. As All For One's like this, he's has like river steps and all that kind of coming from his body. As he tells All Might, as he looks down at All Might, you pathetic washed up piece of garbage. As he's looking down on All Might, as All Might also has that like, very angry expression. He's like, so you're wearing a trash bag and have lost all perspective. Well, your gadgets are gone once I break them, because those toys cannot go beyond their own limits. Since that's that's the difference between gadgets and quirks. The fact that they have limits that they can't be broken over. Like some people may argue, like a lot of people who advocate that Izuku should have been quirkless throughout the story and just going like different gadgets and like physically pumping himself up to a point of like quirk levels. Which one thing is, My Hero Academia doesn't have that like system. Like isn't like type of world where you can like physically boost yourself to superhuman levels. It's not Black Clover or Mashal, in case you're wondering. And second, that's like the thing. Like yeah, there are gadgets that are very good and very useful into countering, but there's always gotta be a limit to how advanced these gadgets can be. And this is what's going on here, where he's like, "Oh yeah, your gadgets. Oh yeah, you think like one use against me is fine? Like I can destroy him 8 billion times." So yeah, as All Might is just like still smiling and still kind of picking his own opinion on gadgets, as he's I think remember even his own words. He says, "Gotta be sure not to rely on them too much. In my time, I've seen far too many heroes who couldn't wield their power or after losing their items." Which is in the patch. I believe this is like in the Culture Festival where Izuku asked him about gadgets, and we like see All Might in an armor, and this is what he's referring to. So yeah, he agrees with that perspective. Like he even said himself is similar words, like in a nicer way, but still like he gets what it's true. Basically confirming this isn't just All For One belittling the work. This is basically the unfortunate truth of the matter. As then we have All Might telling All For One, great minds think alike, pal mine. So like be like, okay, this is supposed to. You think this gonna take Pullman down? No, I agree with you. And just not just him. As then we get like a flashback page with Nana and All Might when they were young, when Nana was still in like the wielder. As they were Nana cleaning up her hands after she beat up a couple of villains, and she's like, "Really, kid? Was that pipe gonna lead you to victory?" As we see All Might standing there in teenage years, and he seems to be a bit bruised. So I'm not entirely certain if he like also fell a bit, or maybe he was getting a bit hit, beaten, and she just grabbed the pipe, but she showed up and quickly wrapped it up. But regardless, he tried to use the pipe because he had nothing else. Then we see a page where Nana looking at him as he's kind of shocked at her. I guess he grabbed the pipe as a reflex because he couldn't use anything else, but she's just shoving quickly finish it or something like that. Again, I would not be surprised if the next two chapters are going to be kind of flashbacks chapters. Although, fair enough, All Might doesn't actually look that young in this page as well. I guess All Might and All For One may have always just looked really old, despite them technically being like 18 or younger. But anyways, then we got to present as we have All Might going to punch All For One in the face, well, on the forehead. As we have All For One saying as he's, kind of, Aries' quirk is kind of like going all over his body. He says, "No, obviously I didn't fall for your cheap ploy to stall me. I can easily spare the time to clean up trash by the roadside." Copium. Copium. All For One is maxing out on copium, people. We need, quickly, someone call a doctor before he maxes out to copium beyond belief. As there we have, another shock blast from All For One as it's supposed to send and show some of All Might's armor away again. We even see some of the, I think that's supposed to be chunks of armor going towards All Might to, I guess, cover him again like Dark Shadow. As then we have All Might saying out loud with his still smiling, and I think his armor is actually so damaged his eyes are now a bit more seeable. As he tells All For One, desperate to play it cool, huh? How undignified! So yeah, I think that that's like a better way of handling the comedy as it was with Mirio when he showing his ass to Tomoa with him, how he's making like cracking jokes as he's like in this desperate situation. So yeah. He's basically, he might as well have just said copium. I feel like that's just what All Might have said. Like, oh, careful there, All For One, you're overdosing your copium! Or something like that. So, yeah, it's based, and it's end of the chapter. This chapter also, it feels very shortly, although I think the reason why this chapter is very short is because this chapter, the chapter itself came out in the week or in that like special week when there was where manga is on break on because of, break. But so this chapter is also very short, but it was only translated now because I think the way that the translators work is like if they have like a break in Japan, they assume there's gonna be no chapter. So despite like drafts for the chapters coming out like a week earlier, they only get translated now when everything's back on time. So that's what happened here. So the chapter is very short because it was released on time where it can't really, well, it was released on the wrong time period, and now it's kind of like, it's like just being translated now. So again, like it's a short chapter, and it's not really clear if this like a final blow or this blow's gonna like finish All Might. If I had to assume, I would assume that we're still gonna have like a little bit of fight to it, and then we're gonna have like a flashback, or maybe we're gonna have the next chapter have the finishing blow, and then the flashback for up until chapter 400, and then we're gonna have chapter 400 where All Might dies. Again, like we're only like three chap, yeah, three chap. There are only like two chapters before 400, and I feel like we can probably like stop it. Like, I mean, again, we could either focus something else for next chapter, or we can have like a two-chapter flashback with chapter 400 being the ending and death of All Might. I can already see a chapter 400, All Might's death, or the All Might finally gets set to peace, or All Might finally joins Nana, or something like that. I could see it. Like, it could easily be. I mean, technically, I don't believe Gran Torino has officially been said to have died off screen or something, and I could easily see, like, a flashback panel where maybe where Gran Torino actually dies and All Might's there. Like, again, I could easily see how we can, like, stretch this out for until at least All Might's dead. Like, even if chapter 399 gets ends with, like, the final blast, we could have that chapter 400 be about All Might's death or something like that. But we'll see on that front. So again, next chapter, my predictions are it's gonna be something to think between these two fight or with some do the length. So it could either it's gonna be a flashback or like a final blow that's going to lead into a flashback. Needless to say, I'm expecting a flashback between a more flashback focused next chapter. But regardless, this chapter again, very short, not really like it's kind of like just a transitioning chapter. Honestly, I kind of feel like this chapter could be like what anime usually do to like extend fights or something like that. But regardless, this is the end of the chapter. I don't know, decent chapter, nothing special, nothing insanely bad, nothing insanely good, just standard in between fight chapter. And with that said, I hope you like this chapter reaction. I hope you leave a like, subscribe to this show for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.